Hello, guys. Welcome back once again to this new tarot reading. Um, this time I wanted to do this tarot reading about BTS members and Blackpink, about how they feel about each other, how they view each other, and whether there's a connection there. I'm not saying an emotional connection. I'm just saying if maybe if they know each other, if maybe they had like get to know each other maybe a little bit. Being in the same industry is like being in the same field of work. Because I have seen a few requests about certain members of Blackpink and BTS members. And since I do not do shipping readings, I do not support shipping members, nor between each other and nor between other groups, boy groups, girl groups. I just don't do that. But it would be interesting to see their dynamic because sometimes maybe between the fandoms there's this kind of sometimes there's this kind of competitiveness, and sometimes this kind of like some silly arguments that happened because of course each of the fandom has their own views about their artist, and that's really valuable. I mean, we are all entitled to have an opinion, but at the same time sometimes some people can take certain interactions or non-interactions, or maybe some some aspects about different members and saying, oh yes, they do like each other, they don't like each other. If we hate them, they probably hate each other. So let's dive in a little bit deeper, and not and see it with an open mind, and not to use this information or maybe this interpretation to fit your own illusions, or maybe to fit your own ideas or preconceived um, uh, opinions about whether they like or not like each other. Let's respect them as human, and also let's respect their energies, because they feel, they think, they have their own opinions, they have their own feelings, and they are in they're totally right to like or dislike someone, because I mean we all do. Just because you happen to not like the other group, it doesn't mean that that person, uh, that member or that group has to have a like a negative opinion about that person, just because you feel it that way. Let's open our minds a little bit. So I'm going to talk about the spread that I did. I placed the names so you can see which side is which. And in the case of BTS, the cards that came out, it's the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Sun. Um, in the case of the boys, I have a feeling that they have really warm feelings for Blackpink. Uh, in some of them, in a very like they admire them, and others, since it's the first cards that came out, it's the Wand, and the Wand talks about energy, talks about desire, talks about passion. Maybe there are one or two members that are particularly attracted to some of the girls as men. I mean, not as artists, as men. So, but there are some of them that just admire them from their hard work and from everything that they had accomplished. And I have the feeling that this has to do with overseas. I believe they see in the girls like a lot of talents that maybe, I mean, I don't know Blackpink that much, but I had a feeling that they know the girls, some of them, that they had conversations with some of them, not all of them, but somehow there's like a connection, but it's in a friendly, almost like polite way, because it's like they share the same um, work, so, or maybe profession. So it's like they had interacted before, some of the members, and some of them, even though they didn't interact with each other, they know about the group, the other group. They know because these members that probably are the most social ones had told them about the girls. So it's like they have their own opinions, or maybe they have like they are like, oh yes, I remember you told me this, and I had watched this. Actually, I believe they had been fans of the girls since the beginning, because I see like a lot of passion, like a lot of like when you are really passionate about someone. So I believe that maybe in the beginning they Blackpink were like their favorite girl group. I mean, it's like they really like their style. It's not to say that they wouldn't find the girls attractive. It's just that it's beyond the girls' attractiveness. Some feel attracted. Some feel. I mean, when I don't know, the first time they saw a Blackpink and B, maybe they were attracted, and their physical appearance caught their attention. But what also caught their attention is that their attitude is they love that, like um, some kind of more powerful girl group, or maybe like with a strong attitude, and just girls having fun and being like really with this distinguished sound, that I believe that it has to do with maybe the first era of Blackpink. um so, and then it's like some of them, they had talked to each other. I don't see like maybe like talking through social media. I see them like maybe they had encountered in Sarah war shows, and they had talked, or they have friends in common, so they had talked to each other. So it's like they're really fond of the girls. The cars that came out are really like, really, when you admire someone, when you see someone's potential, it's like they don't feel they do feel that when it comes to girl groups, maybe Blackpink it's a good match when it comes to popularity. So despite of what the fandom may feel about each other, the boys are really comfortable with and really want and wish them the best. So there's not like something cringy there. There's not awkwardness, which is interesting, because I had always had this feeling that that BTS is a little bit like um, maybe like a little bit awkward when it comes to girl groups. But in this case, it's like I mean, what I can see in the cards, in the tarot cards, is that they just feel really positive about them. And they see them that they have a lot of potential, that they have like this star attitude. So I believe that not all the members, maybe two of them, two, three, maybe two or one, have some connections with some of the girls. So it's like they know each other. They know, but not in this romantic like. Anyways, that's their business, but I just don't see it. I see that there's this like, I have the feeling that this beginning of this friendship, or maybe of these encounters that they had, was when the two groups were not really that famous, when they were just getting started, maybe when the girls were getting started. So because I don't see any kind of like it's like they have this great first impression of the girls. So in the case of Blackpink, it's a bit different. So I don't know if it's because of everything that they had went through when it comes to interacting with male groups or with male in general, especially when it comes to everyone being after Jenny's dating, who is she dating, who is she hanging out with. So I believe that maybe these cards are a little bit darker, because there's I think the restriction comes from them more than from the boys. It's like the boys would be totally fine to interact with them in front of a camera, but the girls are a little bit more like they do not want it, because they would feel like maybe rumors will stop, and it's like I think that probably had happened, and that's why they are not that close anymore, because maybe rumors started like happening. I haven't heard anything, so I'm just saying that I think they started very well from the beginning, like a great friendship. It's like a good interaction, and then it suddenly stopped because of the prejudice, of course, of the fear, especially coming from the girls. So I believe that maybe because they were starting and the boys were really getting really popular, they just also didn't want to ruin the boys' reputation, like um, because I have the feeling that really that it's a really warm feeling. So I don't see them like, oh, please don't come near me because you're going to ruin my reputation. No, actually they are really welcoming, they're really friendly. I get this vibe of being friendly. But in the case of Blackpink, we have the Eight of Swords, the um Prince of Pentacles, and the Two of Wands. So yes, in the case of the girls, there's some restriction. There's some like that they wish things would have turned out differently. Um, I believe it's because they feel pressure because of the rumors that might come out. So it's like they feel like or maybe they were told that they shouldn't interact with the boys, or that they shouldn't even mention them, or that they had to stay really far away from the boys, even physically, because of the shipping. Because the source is the first element that came in the first card. So that source is all about communication, it's all about words. It also can mean the surpassing, the trespassing of words and news and the internet. So I believe it's because they have this fear, that if they would have become closer, these rumors would have spoiled everything. And they actually do admire the boys really well. They have this view about the boys. I don't know if when they met them, they weren't that successful. I'm talking about the boys. Um, and it's like the girls really admire the boys' determination, and also how their process was really slow but steady. It's like they considered BTS a group that is really humble, that is really hardworking, that is really modest about their accomplishments. Because when we see the Prince of Pentacles is someone that works really hard, and actually works like in a slow pace, but takes his time to make sure that the results are the best, and that the results can keep growing, keep coming, keep producing. They are producers, they are hardworking people. They may not show, may not be like this really like flashy or showy kind of people that are like, oh yes, I'm you have no idea what I'm working on. I'm talking that maybe they had talked to them when they weren't just as popular, or maybe not in Korea. So maybe they had some conversations, and they had this perception of that the boys were really humble about their work. Maybe, I don't know, some of them may have praised them or say, oh, I really loved your performance, or I really loved this that you did. And they were like, oh, yes, thank you. It was nothing. I want to do better next time. So I have the feeling that they, they have this perception of the boys as being really humble, like and they are really like really happy for the boys to be able to nowadays have this dominion, this dominance over the market. They don't see them as competitors, not at all, because they feel that they are really hardworking, and that they definitely do deserve what they have. Because it's like I have the feeling that I have this perception of something is telling me like back in the days they were really like humble, like um, it's like the way they behave, or maybe the way they acted. They gave this vibe or being really humble, so it really stuck in their minds. Um, Also, I have the same feeling. It's not that all Blackpink members had interacted with the boys, it's a few of them, but the impressions that they have left on each other is really positive. It's really positive. Um, and what I say about the boys, because the first card that came from them, it's the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands, it's all about passion. So there are definitely some of them that do have a bias in Blackpink, or maybe that they say, oh, she's so pretty, oh, she's amazing. So but it's not something that they will reveal to each other in person. It's just when you have a bias. I mean, we all do, and they all do. It's like professionally. It's when you watch their MV and you see them in the MV, and you are like, oh yes, I like her because it's look at her outfit. Look, she's pretty, and they, I mean, I think people are stuck in their ideas that you cannot say that someone is attractive because all of a sudden you are dating. And no, it's not like that. I mean, they are young men that they consume, I believe, MVs and K-pop content just like like we do, and they more so because it's like their work is to be in the industry. So it's obvious that they could have a bias, or then maybe they like someone in particular, but it's not romantic. It's a kind of admiration, and it's also like very respectful and very friendly. I have this word that always comes to my mind: friendly. um and the cards that came out for their relationship overall, I mean the connection, not the relationship, the connection. It's the cards that came out, it's the moon, the last, that here is the strength card, but in this deck it's called last. um and then the seven of wands again. This card also came out in the difference um tarot reading, that I remember that I told you seven of wands, it's about defensiveness, it's about being on the defensive. So I also put two extra cards to clarify what this seven of wands means in this case. And the cards that came out is the three of swords and the six of swords. So in their overall relationship, yes, the moon, it's a card about, also about fears, about as I was saying earlier. I believe there were like acquaintances, like they had friends in common, maybe they had interacted with each other, and somehow fear took over them. Um, but I don't think that it's from their parts, it's because of the people around them. I mean, I believe that there were a lot of like so-called friends that introduced them to each other, and somehow these friends wanted to leak, or maybe they were like, oh, don't take pictures because we cannot, you know and they were like, oh yes, I want, and suddenly this person took a picture. It's like it was something that they would fear that it would get out of control, and I have the feeling that the girls were the ones that would fear the most, because maybe of the sad reality that they are females, and that um, nowadays in our modern society, thank God, some things about our femininity and about us being female in a work environment, in a group, in public, is slowly progressing toward a more accepting and like respectful view about the women and the female condition, and not always blame the female, not always being like, oh yes, I'm sure she went after him, I'm sure she seduced him. No, boys can do things too. So I think it's about reputation, and there was reputation, and there were a lot of fears about that. um and since the last card came out, the last card, it's the equivalent to the strength card. So when we see the strength card, just when we see this card, we see like a woman trying to like trying to hold a lion with her hands, and the lion is with its open mouth, is like roaring, and she's like gently holding him. Well, that means the how we hold our inner and passion desires or instinctive desires back. So maybe there was like an initial attraction between some of them, like maybe it's not just friendly, like maybe there was like I cannot say who, but I see like a kind of attraction. So they were like really like, and someone was like, yes, we cannot hang out anymore. And I think it was both parts, because this defensiveness card, this to be in the defensive, came about the relationship as a whole, with both parties involved. Here, there's no BAM there's no manager, there's no company. Here, it was about them. So there was this fear of getting too close, or maybe start to develop feelings, or maybe start to like each other. So I cannot tell who it is, but there was some kind of like instant attraction that just didn't just stop there, because both parties decided to, like, allegedly, remember that these readings are for entertainment purposes only, just put a frame to it, just to avoid, because the two cards that came out for that I wanted to clarify, the Seven of Wands is the Three of Swords, and it's the Six of Swords. So it's all about avoiding getting your heart break, but it's not about the other person breaking your heart. It's about the media breaking your heart. It's about the media destroying your reputation and twisting things. Because the Six of Swords talks, it's about troubles, it's about sometimes fast moving, like when you move from one place to another. And when we think about technology and when we think about the media, you know that news travel fast. So this has to do with rumors being spread about them. So whether there was an attraction or not, rumors would have been uh, spread anyways, just because they are who they are. So it's like that's why they do not talk about them. They are polite to each other, but they are, if you watch their interactions, they're always like restricted, and they're like almost like no reaction at all, because they're like, I don't want that camera on my left corner to see me that I'm dancing to their song, because they are going to think that we are dating and we are not. I mean, these are people that, I mean, they are human, they are young, they are attractive, yes, but at the same time, we have to think about them as professional. They are doing their job. They are doing their job, and of course, as any kind of work or any kind of work related, sometimes people date in work, but in this case, it was like the fear of ruining each other's reputation, of the fear of um, complicates the other person's circumstances, because I believe that there's a respect here. That's why this was able to be like, yes, we shouldn't be that friendly with each other, and maybe not with supposedly friends or acquaintances. And these acquaintances can be also other K-pop stars that are really gossipy and that like to spread rumors, because everyone is like, whenever a rumor is spread, they are always thinking that maybe it's a staff member, or maybe it's someone that works with them. Sometimes it's K-pop idols themselves, because I have the feeling that when it comes to the girls, because they are really popular, and I know I have the feeling that now they're untouchable. That is like, except the other rumors, but it's like no regular rookie comes near them. But when they just started, when the girls started, there were like this, a lot of idols, male idols, wanted to become friends with them. So I believe there was also a competition about, oh, what if I can get her to be my girlfriend, or maybe what if I it's like they wanted to get closer to the girls. They were really like um not BTS, I'm talking about other K-pop idols. So maybe they became friends with them, and they maybe somehow introduced them to some BTS members, and but somehow these K-pop idols really were in it for themselves. So if they didn't get a chance with any of the girls, they would spread malicious rumors about them. So I believe that this is why the free of source is here. It's all about disappointment. It's all about the fear of getting your heart broken. And it's not about romantic, it's about someone spreading false rumors about you, just because you are female, and just because you are pretty and you are attractive, and everyone feels entitled to come near you and present themselves and like talk to you, and this. And also, I have the feeling about sometimes this maybe a, I don't know if I can say Korean kind of way, but when the girls started, all the girl groups in general, they have to speak really sweet, and they have to be really polite, and they have to be really nice, and smiling all the time. So maybe sometimes maybe they can be in a situation where they do not feel comfortable, and they cannot say anything because they are just starting, and maybe they are hanging out with a group of I don't know, stars that have like more experience than them, and they somehow are told to be really like welcoming and to be really nice and really respectful. So it's about them fearing for their vulnerability, especially in the first years. But the boys definitely have a lot of respect, and I believe that they had also sense, when they interacted with them. They had also sense like saying, we are not those kinds of men. Just because we talk to you or say hi to you, we don't want that from you. Um, I could be attracted to someone, and that doesn't mean, or um, for example, JK could be my bias, and I could meet him somewhere, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to jump on him and being creepy because he's my bias. It's I find him attractive, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to act according to my desires. But this is the situation from the boys. The boys had always been respectful. That's why they have this memory of them being really humble. And I believe that this distinguished them from probably other male idols they had encountered, that maybe their intentions weren't that nice. So that's why they decided to, oh yes, I'm not going to interact with this group of people anymore, because there's something here that doesn't match. And but that doesn't affect the perception that they have from each other. So dear fandom, there's no need for fan wars, because there's no enmity here. No one hates each other. There's no one like throwing evil eye at each other. It's just that they are protecting each other. They are protecting each other, because I have the feeling that the boys are really respectful when it comes to female, and it's not just because Bang PD told them about the whole protocol of reaching. I'm talking about I'm talking about real life interaction, not just. Um, I believe that that's why, about the boys, they had never been like a rumor about them, because they had always been really respectful toward females. Maybe too respectful sometimes, but it's like the fact that they can greet each other and say hi to each other doesn't mean that they once dated, or that if they stay away from each other and do not react at all, is that because probably they were dating and they broke up. It's not about that, but there's a feeling of preservation. There's a feeling of, um, let's respect each other and let's avoid the rumors, because it's like, um, many people want those those previews. A lot of people want to hear that. So and that's their life. We don't know, and if they do announce it sometime, maybe we will know who is acquaintance. Who is friends with who. But if they don't, there's no way we can know it. So I'm going to leave it here, guys, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give it a like. And of course, if you have more recommendations, you can leave it in a comment section. So please stay respectful with each other. Do not fight with each other. Just spread love, and just take music like it is. If BTS music inspires you, if Blackpink music inspires you, just take it, enjoy it. It's your experience. You don't have to prove to anyone that your artist is better than the other. It doesn't work that way. What it matters is how you feel about them, what they bring to your life. The others, it's each each of us have our own universe. Every time we connect with music and every time we connect with an artist, yes, we have a very profound and personal relationship. But that doesn't mean that because we don't connect with other artists, that those artists are useless and not talented just because you don't click with their music or you don't like it. So let's stay respectful, and let's just as they decide to be respectful toward one another. So let's learn from their dynamic. I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.